4, 3. Hey, you're listening to Live from the Heartland, where we got a real basketball Jones here. We got Adam Shopkorn, who is the producer of a new movie called Lenny Cooke. It opened last night at the Siskel Center downtown. How long is it going to be showing?
It's going to be shown through Thursday, December 5th.
Now, a lot of people have likened this movie to Kartemquin made Hoop Dreams here in Chicago. I didn't ever see Hoop Dreams, I confess, but I did watch your movie this morning, and it's a very moving movie. You know, it's got this matchup between LeBron James and this kid Lenny Cooke, who was one of the finest basketball players to ever come out of New York. Carmelo Anthony, they're all contemporaries. Joakim Noah's in there, and this kid was. He really had visions of sugar plums, whatever we would say in basketball terms.
Probably not sugar plums.
Of lots of Nike stuff, and unfortunately, he didn't make it. Tell us a little bit about your movie and how you came to make it.
To do it.
Sure. Right out of college, I was working for an independent film producer named Ed Pressman, and I had read an article by New York Times journalist Harvey Arreton about high school basketball players making the quote-unquote leap into the NBA, and this was a phenomenon that was happening more and more. Kids were completely bypassing college and going directly into the NBA. And
we had it here in Chicago. We had two guys, Chandler and
Eddie Curry. Yeah, and I initially set out to find a subject where I could document a 2-year process of a kid kind of going through his senior year of high school, putting his name in the draft, successfully getting drafted, and then spending a year with him in the NBA. I thought that would be an interesting project. So I found Lenny Cooke up at Fordham University in the Bronx, and Lenny wanted the cameras on him, so it was kind of an easy sell, and I started making a documentary film. Little did I know that Lenny was not going to get drafted in the 2002 NBA draft, and that my film was going to take 12 years to finish.
Well, he decided not to go in the draft the first year, or was he still playing in high school?
No, he was a junior in high school. There was a scene in the film where he's at his guardian's house in New Jersey watching the 2001 NBA draft, and that's kind of when the floodgates open, right? The 3 of the first 4 picks in the NBA draft were kids from high school: Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler, and Kwame Brown. So Lenny's kind of sitting watching the television all googly-eyed saying, this is me next year.
Eating
right?
McDonald's.
Correct.
So when were those matchups where he's playing with Carmelo and he's also playing against LeBron James?
That was summer 2001 at a camp called ABCD Camp, which was run by Adidas, run by a guy by the name of Sonny Vaccaro. The godfather of grassroots basketball. And that was, where the best players in the nation kind of come together and kind of have these individual duels. We were just talking about it. It's not necessarily team basketball. It's more about the individual matchups and hyping those individual matchups. And Lenny kind of ran into Carmelo Anthony at the camps, where he played very well against Carmelo. And then there was an unknown 15-year-old kid from Akron, Ohio, named LeBron James, and that was kind of LeBron's coming out party, and I was there to kind of film the game, and no one else was there to film the whole game. I mean, ESPN actually showed up 48 hours after that game, and they were all over LeBron, and it was LeBron was on the national map.
So you were around when it all was coming down. Were you surprised that he wasn't picked in the draft in the first 2 rounds at all?
Yes, I was very surprised. And Lenny actually, by that point, had left his guardian's house in a leafy suburban town in New Jersey and moved out to Flint, Michigan, because somebody gave him a suitcase full of money to sign with them. So when Lenny left suburban New Jersey, it became harder and harder to get in touch with him. And Lenny didn't actually take my calls the night of the 2002 NBA draft. I must have called him 155 times because I was making a film about his life, so I needed to be there with him during draft night. But yes, I was extremely surprised, but we decided not to make an investigative report about why Lenny Cooke never got drafted. Sure, off the record, I would love to sit down and pick the brains of the 28 NBA general managers who decided to pass on him, but that wasn't the film that we decided to make.
One of the clear things about the film is the kind of dangers and the high hopes and aspirations that young basketball players have. And there's a coach at the very beginning of the film at this camp, I believe, and he says, at the beginning of any NBA season, there are 380 people on the rosters. There are 248 million people in this country. That makes it like 1 in a million your chance almost to make it into pros. And that's a call that probably a lot of young guys should heed and pay attention to. You go on to show Lenny playing ball in various leagues, Continental League or whatever. He's over playing basketball in the Philippines. And you and I talked before the show. He played a lot of other places in Europe, but things didn't go real well for him. And then you show him 6 years later, and he's clearly beefed up a lot. He's eating a lot more food. And, he seems like a pretty nice guy, but things didn't go his way.
No, they didn't, and Lenny kind of put all his eggs in one basket, and there was not an alternative plan. He believed that he was going to be an NBA superstar, so yeah, he struggles to this day just to survive and provide for his family. One thing that we're taking pretty seriously is getting Lenny traveling nationally around the country with the film and speaking to kids and using the film as a platform to kind of preach the message of this is what not to do.
Well, Joakim Noah, who is one of our favorite guys, he's involved with your film, and he's very supportive, I think. There's a scene at the end of the film where Lenny, I think these guys are a little juiced up, and he's talking about, I've come to see all my fellow friends. He uses the N-word a lot, but no one comes to see me except Joakim Noah. And you have some interesting shots of Joakim with him at the end. There's some shots at the camp early on with Joakim with his Swedish Miss Sweden mother.
Correct.
And what's that relationship about?
Sure. Well, Joakim. It took Joakim It took about 2 years to convince Joakim to become involved with this film, because he's very cautious, and he just wants to make sure what he's involving himself in is the right stuff. So I had to be very patient with Joakim. But Joakim grew up idolizing Lenny Cooke. They were on the same AAU basketball team in New York, and Joakim, I think, was in 7th or 8th grade when Lenny was a junior in high school. So Joakim rode the bench, never saw the floor, and when I met Joakim, he was 5'10", and he was 14 years old. And I remember seeing Joakim, I think 11 months later, I walked into a gym, and I had never seen someone grow so fast in my life. And I looked up, and I turned around, and then I turned back around, I turned around, and he was 6'10". And it was the same face on the body. It was just, he had just been stretched out. Yeah. But Joakim, Lenny was it in New York. Lenny Cooke was it. And if you were a young kid and you were playing basketball and Lenny Cooke walked into a gym, your jaw dropped, and Joakim's jaw used to drop. And Joakim used to say if Lenny needed me to get him a soda, I'd get him a soda. If I had to lie down in traffic for Lenny Cooke, I would lie down in traffic for Lenny Cooke. And then, Joakim continued to work hard, had a growth spurt, won 2 national championships at the University of Florida, got drafted by the Bulls, and now he's an NBA All-Star, and he works incredibly hard, and he feels really sad about Lenny's situation. Because he truly believes that Lenny Cooke should be a peer of his in the NBA. So what Joakim wanted to do was get involved with this film so we could push it out and have young kids see the film and make sure that they don't,
And he's going to appear at one of the showings this
tomorrow.
weekend.
Yeah, he's going to introduce the film and hang out after for a Q&A, and he's bringing a whole bunch of kids from Chicago through, he has a foundation called Noah's Ark Foundation. Right. I think he does a lot of work. He's very involved with the Kartemkin guys. He's a big fan of the Interrupters.
Yeah.
I think he's become quite friendly with. Is it Kobe Williams? Is it one of the stars of the Interrupters?
Yeah, Kobe.
Yeah. So
know his last name.
Joe's doing a lot of work with the Interrupters, and when he likes something, he.
What a great example.
Adam, what are your hopes for your movie? What do you hope, besides it becoming a great big success, what do you hope that the message it gives and what it does for people who see it?
Well, I hope that it'll provide an opportunity for 150 or 200 days a year for Lenny Cooke to be traveling around, earning money, talking, earning enough money to provide for his family while talking to kids and. Telling them about his experiences, and I just like as many people as possible. I think anyone who makes a film wants as many people as possible to see that film. So I'm working as hard as I can, both for the film and to better Lenny.
Well, it's a good film, and I'm going to look forward to your next one. Do you have any plans? What do you think of it? I know you're involved with this, and you got a long way to go with it, but you must have some little seeds there that are sprouting up in there.
I'm a big sports fan, so I like that genre. I'm very interested in trading cards. The cards that I collected as a kid and the cards that my dad collected as a kid that are...
Just basketball, or are you talking football, baseball,
all types of sporting cards.
A Heisman Trophy shot.
There was a set of Cuban baseball cards that came out for a while. You had to get them through Canada, I remember.
Yeah,
I got them if you need them.
So that's something I'm okay. I'm sure those are worthless too, as well as my collection and everyone else's collection in America. Yeah.
That's good. And where do you make your home?
In New York, in Manhattan. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx.
Do you play? Oh, you're in the Bronx guy. My mom's from the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
Did you play much ball yourself?
I did. Yeah, I played football at a small school in upstate New York, and I still.
A college.
Yeah.
Which one? I'm a small school college guy.
Hamilton College.
Oh, that's formidable. You were a backfield guy?
I was. Yeah, I played fullback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, give us the information
Now you've
about
started the breakfast
where the film is playing. It's called Lenny Cooke.
The film is titled Lenny Cooke, and it's playing at the Gene Siskel Film Center.
Right on
one
State
night,
Street.
one showing per night through Thursday, December 5th. So this evening, tomorrow evening, where Joakim Noah will be, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening.
And Adam, where does it go next? And where are you distributing it?
Next, it's going to. It's in Seattle right now. It's going to the Film Society at Lincoln Center in New York, beginning December 6th. It'll be playing at Beverly Hills December 13th, and then at the Roxy Theater December 20th in San Francisco, all week runs. And then we're going to be announcing some very exciting television deals. So the film actually is going to go very far and very wide, which we're excited about.
Spread the word, everybody. It's worth seeing. You'll do it. We'll be right back with more Live from the Heartland. And Nolan Chen is going to give us some tune. I don't know what it is. And we're going to talk reparations for the victims of torture here in Chicago in our next segment. Coming right up on Live from the Heartland here on the left end of your dial.
Thanks, yeah. It's good to have sports in between, right?